everyone, so today we're looking at 5 different ways to highlight your waist to show off that beautiful silhouette of yours. If you have curves, then highlighting your waist will complement your shape as it draws the eye to and emphasizes your narrowest part, being your waistline. If you lack curves, then again highlighting your waistline will draw the eye and create the illusion of having more curves. Option number 1 is the easiest, most flattering way for majority of body shapes is to opt for a high waistline on your bottoms. Or if you're shorter in the torso so you don't have much gap between your bust line and your waistline, you might want to look at a mid-rise. The easiest way is to use your hands as a guide to find your narrowest part. So I can feel that mine is exactly here, and this is where you want your bottoms to sit, and that's the most complimentary rise for my silhouette. You'll also do the same for trousers, and I love the little detail of the gold button here as well, because again it centralizes the eye, which is drawing the eye away from any of my curves or any parts of my body that I don't feel quite as confident with. And the same applies for skirts too. Now with each of those, whether that's the skirt, the trousers or the jeans, you'll notice how the silhouette has been shaped by the outfit and how the high rise is perfectly placed on that narrowest part of my body. So for option number 2, and to really cinch in that waistline, simply belt it. And again, just with the little tiny details that are across the middle there, it just centralizes the eye for you, highlighting and cinching in that waist even further. Or for a bigger visual impact, try adding a different color belt. So I've opted for another neutral version just because it perfectly aligns with my top here, and all I've done here is wrap that belt around each other just to create another element and something a bit different than just a standard, putting a belt on and tucking it to one side. Even my jumper dresses I'll often belt, because look at the difference when I don't. It literally hangs from my bust down, even from the side. It's just loose and it's not right. So for me, even though it will enhance my curves, I much prefer to have it belted. It just offers me a much more complementary look to my overall shape. And yes, because it's a jumper dress, it's going to cling a little bit more on my hips, but I'm absolutely okay with that. They're curvaceous, so what? That's my shape and I love it, so I'm going to show it. And then to be fair, I've even got other dresses like this cream little crochet dress, which on the face of it is actually really good fitting, but I think because it's neutral all over, I feel like it lacks a bit of substance. It needs something else just to elevate the style. So for me, I always prefer to belt it. As for me, it just completes the look and elevates the style effortlessly. Option number 3 is to crop it, tie it, or even tuck it. So opting for something cropped does not necessarily mean that you have to go for something that is super cropped and showing off all of your midriff. That is not what I'm implying here. Fine if you want to, but for me, I prefer to have something a little bit more modest, and I prefer it to actually come to the same line as my high-rise jeans or trousers or skirt, because that way then we've got the change of fabric and the change of color, again cropping right in my narrowest part. Now this is actually a looser version of it and probably sits a little tiny bit low, so I could just nip that in at the front if I wanted to, but to be honest, for some days I'm quite happy just having a little bit looser and a little bit, sort of more movement in my top. Switching it out for a different color t-shirt and one that's a bit longer, so most of us will have these within our wardrobe. You can see here that by having it untucked, what a difference it makes. I've got no shape. It adds on at least a dress size, and I've just lost the waistline. So if you're not a fan of having the cropped, or you can't get it to quite sit on the right section of your silhouette, use one of these little clear hairbands and simply pull it up to one side to fix in a little knot as seen here. This will just allow you to pull it up to exactly where you want the top to finish. It ensures that you don't damage that fabric by overstretching the t-shirt to try and tie a physical knot, and it still gives you that looseness and that comfort feel that brings with wearing a t-shirt, but still giving you that shape to your silhouette. Moving on to tucking it. Again, you can see it's just shapeless. It just doesn't really do anything for me. Whereas having it tucked in just really allows it to highlight the shape of my silhouette and draws the eye back into the narrowest part, being the waistline. And I've decided to go for what I tend to call a crossover tuck. So it just makes this interesting little detail at the front. Again, draws the eye central to my silhouette. And when it comes to tucking in, the same applies for those oversized jumpers. All you need to do is simply nip them in at the waistline, right at the front, just ever so slightly. Again, it just draws the eye back up centrally and not creating that solid line as we get when we do here. Because again, having a solid line here, right on where my widest part is, which is my hips, it just draws the eye there, and that's not where I want to draw it. I want to bring it back up to that waistline. Perfect. Now the last 2 options I'm going to show you are really easy, super simple ways to naturally highlight your waist, and is perfect for those days when you're feeling a little bloated or a bit self-conscious and you don't want to draw attention, and the idea of just either tucking, belting or any of that is just simply a step too far for you. Option number 4 is to roll those sleeves up. So even with an oversized blazer like this, by wearing a semi-fitted top underneath, allowed me to just gently highlight the waist. But if you're one of those women that are a bit self-conscious about having anything to the side showing, opting for an oversized blazer will be your best friend. And the way that you can then still naturally highlight that waistline is to simply simply roll the sleeves up. So if you put them up to 3/4 length or even just around about where your elbow is, you can see when I put my arms back down, we've got a cut-off line right on your narrowest part. It makes you feel secure in the fact that you have your comfort blanket of that oversized blazer, but we're still effortlessly highlighting this waistline by having a change of detail right across the middle of your silhouette. The same can be done for the shirts. If you really do insist on wearing them untucked, then by simply rolling up the sleeves, just draws the eye line back up to that waist in such a natural way. It doesn't feel restrictive and it doesn't feel like you're grabbing attention from the world to look at my waistline. And for my last option, we have the wrap dress. It's one of the easiest garments to just throw on because it's suitable for any occasion, every piece of footwear you own, and you can style it in so many different ways. There will be another video coming very soon because it is also one of my hero pieces for multiple reasons, so watch this space on that one. But for now, we're talking about how it naturally highlights the waist. The whole design of the dress is to complement the female silhouette. The way that it's wrapped across the bust line, it's naturally cinched in at the waistline, and it effortlessly glides over the hips. Now, fabric plays a big part in this as well, so it's always worth trying them on first. But you can easily tie the waistline in to cinch in as much or as little as you like. Now, I personally prefer to wrap it over twice. As you can see, I've twisted it around the back and brought the ties back to the front and tied a little bow just to, again, draw the eye line back to the center of my silhouette, naturally highlighting the waist. And I absolutely love this. I feel so ridiculously comfortable in it. I can wear it for whatever occasion and whatever the day brings for me. So definitely my favorite look. I would love to know in the comments which has been the option that you would like to try first or that you're already doing at home. So I hope you've enjoyed this video on how to highlight your waist in 5 different ways. If so, then please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. And if you've enjoyed this video, why not check out this one here?